Hey guys, welcome to Accounting 120, Principles of Financial Accounting. My name is Mr. Harris. I am a CPA and I will be the instructor for this class. Before we get started, I just want to take a second to give you guys a quick pep talk. This is it's a very interesting class. It's a little difficult for some people. It's not so bad for others, but it's a class kind of like a chemistry class or an algebra class or something like that. It takes time to read, to understand the vocabulary, and also to work through some problems. If you think that you're going to have difficulty with a class like that, taking it online, please keep in mind that in the spring semesters there's only an online class an online Accounting 120 class, and in the fall time there is a seated day class and one that also meets at night. So if you think you're really going to have trouble with that, just be careful and let me know if you think you might want to switch around. No big deal either way. Many times people that take this section online who don't devote enough time to it end up failing, retaking it, and doing well in the seated section. If you're willing to put in the time and not get behind, I typically don't have people that struggle too much, but sometimes it's hard to find the motivation, especially with an online class. It takes a little bit of extra willpower to be successful. The first 4 chapters of this class, pretty much everything else builds on it. So make sure if you're going to miss any classes, if you're planning a trip and you know you're going to be gone for a weekend or something, just make sure it's after these first 4 chapters are taken care of. These first 4 chapters, like I said, everything else in the class builds on it. If you don't understand chapter 9, you can still do good in chapter 12, but if you don't understand any of those first 4, you're really going to struggle throughout the remainder of class, and you'll see that to be true as you go along. So let's take a look now. So welcome to class. Make sure you check the schedule. We're going to come down here to the syllabus in just a second, but make sure you check this schedule and adhere to it. The work for the most part is always going to be due Sunday evening right before midnight. So I try to keep it simple. It's the same. Most weeks there's going to be a Cengage homework assignment, and in addition there's going to be a quiz that you'll take. We'll also have tests after every 4 chapters or so, and there will be a discussion board that you participate in the same week as the test. Cengage counts for a majority of your grade. The tests and the homework, the test and the quizzes I think are weighted the same. We'll take a look at that in a second in the syllabus. And the discussion boards are I think 5% of your grade. The discussion boards are really easy. If you follow the guidelines, I'm pretty liberal with the grading there, so it would be a shame to miss those extra points, but for some reason people seem to do it every semester. So here's the syllabus. We're going to click on that now. And when we open this up, you can see some information about this class. It's 5 contact hours, and you're going to get 4 credit hours for it. And we are an online section here, so we're not going to be meeting in class. Let's take a look here. Faculty information. Here's a picture of me, a little bit about me, my contact information, my telephone number, my office hours, and my location. The best way to get up with me is definitely by email. I check it throughout. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is to check my email, and before I go to bed, it's one of the last things I do. So that's definitely a good way to get up with me if you need to get up with me quickly. Of course, you're always welcome to swing by the office. So here is the book that you need. This is a combo with Cengage Access. I know you're probably thinking, wow, I dropped all this money on this book and it's not even a hard copy. Well, the main thing that you're paying for is the Cengage Access. And by getting this a loose leaf custom book, I was able to get them to throw that on top of the Cengage cost for, I think it was like 25 extra bucks. So this actually, it was going to be a lot more expensive to get the hard copy book. So just put this thing in a hole punch, and it's not worth paying all that extra money just to have a hard cover on it. In addition, this book is used for this class and for Accounting 121, the class that follows this one up. If you take that one, if you're a business admin student, you will need to take it. And in addition, you'll have Cengage Access for both semesters as well. Okay? Let's take a look at the attendance policy. So in the attendance policy states that you have to participate in 80% or more of the class. So if you fail to complete a quiz, that's going to count as an absence. And if you miss 20% or more of the class, you will be dropped from the class. That is the campus policy. And I never can understand it. There's people that don't even attempt multiple choice quizzes and don't even attempt the homework. Seems to me pretty silly to not even go in there and give it a shot, you know. I mean, even if you're not 100% sure what you're doing, you have a decent chance with multiple choice questions of getting a couple right here. Of course, I'm not encouraging you to go in there and eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but at the end of the semester, those zeros really take a toll on you. So please make sure you don't miss any of those. Of course, as you would probably expect, late work is not accepted unless there's something major that's taken place, somebody's in a car wreck, something like that. Of course, I have no problem. I'm a reasonable fella. But if you live out in the boondocks and your internet connection is spotty, that's not going to be an excuse. So remember, we have computer labs here on campus. Let's take a look at the grading plan for this course. I'm sure you're pretty interested in this part of it. Yeah, don't cheat, right? If you get caught cheating, you're going to receive an F in the class. So here's the weighting. The Cengage homework assignments are 55% of your grade. This might take you a little bit longer, definitely, than the quizzes, but it's a significant amount of your grade. So you can see here, this is where an area you really want to focus. This is where you're going to be working through homework problems. The quiz, these are typically going to be multiple choice questions. They count for 1/5 of your grade. These discussion board points here, those are the easy ones I was mentioning earlier, as long as you follow the guidelines. These are going to be related to ethics. The discussions are going to be ethics related. And then you'll have your tests. And the tests collectively altogether count as 20%. And the third test that you have, the final week, will have test 3. So there's not a comprehensive or cumulative final, it's just test number 3. We're on a 10-point scale. So take a look here and make sure that you're not getting below, hopefully below an A, but definitely there's no excuse to get a D or an F in this class if you're putting forth the effort. So let's take a look here at the tentative schedule. Of course, anything like this is subject to change. Typically it will not, and I will notify you right away if any changes are made to it. So I would suggest printing this out. And this kind of shows the progress we're going to make. We're going to split the first chapter into 2 sections. This very first chapter is super important. As I mentioned, these first 4 chapters are really important. But the further up, from chapter 1, it's more important than 2 to 3 to 4, because if you don't understand 1, you're not going to have a chance of getting 2, etc. So this first one is super crucial, so we're going to spend 2 weeks on that. And for those of you that pick this up quickly, you might get a little bored these first 2 weeks, but we have to kind of pace the class in a way that benefits the whole. And so if you're struggling, please let me know. If you find it's a piece of cake, just enjoy having a little more free time. And then we're going to pick up a pretty steady pace for the rest of it. Not super fast paced, but we're not going to spend 2 weeks on any more chapters. So like I said, after chapter 4, we'll have our first test. We're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, have another test. And then the last test will be based on 9, 11. We're going to skip chapter 10, 12, and 13. Okay, and these tests will be mostly multiple choice as well. They'll be offered through Moodle. And it's not just theoretical. You're going to have to work some problems. The quizzes that I mentioned earlier that are multiple choice are typically going to be more theoretical, and the homework is where you'll work the longer problems. The test will be a mixture of both theoretical and actually demonstrating that you can work through a problem. All right, let's go back to the main homepage here. And so each week you're going to open up a different topic, and when you open that topic, there's going to be some instructions for you. If I scroll down here, here's a pretty typical chapter. Pretty typical topic here. The first few ones are a little bit different. I'll show you those in a second. But for most of the chapters, we're going to have some instructions here. This is going to be a link to your homework. Make sure you do that. And let's hit the back button here. and then there's going to be a quiz here. So when you click on the quiz, it's going to open up. It's going to tell you there's 20 questions. In this example, you have 35 minutes. There's the due date, etc., etc. So that's kind of a typical week. For this very first week, you're going to need to take a look here and go back and look at that due date. We'll review that in a second, but it's coming up pretty quickly. So the first half of Chapter 1 is going to be what your very first assignment and quiz is going to be based on. So here is some information. We're going to be covering pages 1 to 15 in your book. And this quiz and the homework are going to be due on January 17th. I just took a peep up at the schedule, and that's what it said. So if we go all the way back up here, the first thing you're going to see is welcome to class. You're going to come down here. You're watching the video right now, which is good, this welcome to class video. So good job. And there's the syllabus, of course. This is where you're going to click to learn how to access Cengage. So we're going to come right back up to that in a second. But you'll see all these other little resources here. There are some other videos here. This says accounting videos made by me especially for this class. So if we click on this, it's going to take us to a YouTube page, and here are all of these videos. Let's just take a look here.
Hey guys,
So this is a Cengage help one. I'm actually probably going to delete this one. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyways, this will be the first one that you see, the accounting equation.
okay guys,
And I walk through and explain things to you the exact same way that I would if you were in class. The only difference is it's typed up instead of being on Excel. So there's at least one video for every chapter. There's several for a lot of the chapters, but in a minimum there should be one for each chapter. So anyways, I think these are pretty good videos, and there are also videos available in Cengage. Alright, so here we are again. Alright, so now let's take a look up here at Cengage and what it is. what it is. So Cengage is what is going to allow us to do all sorts of homework and watch videos, and there's all sorts of wonderful instruments here to help you learn regardless of what your learning style might be. So you're going to come in here, you're going to click to create a new account and follow the directions, and it's going to take you right in and get you set up and ready to go. Now, if you've purchased a Cengage access code in the past, perhaps you tried taking this class last time around and didn't do so hot and you're having to retake it, please let me know. They should still give you credit for a second attempt on this. You get Cengage access for a year. So if you're in that ship, if you're in that boat, the first thing you should try doing is explaining yourself to Cengage now through their customer support people, and if they don't help, please contact me and I'll try to work with the sales rep to get things fixed for you. Once you follow the directions to gain access to Cengage, one of the first things that you're going to do is click this watch the completing course assignments video. Now you're going to have to complete that before you can begin working on your work. This isn't graded, but you can't get any further in the class unless you do that. So make sure you watch that, and let's take a look at what our first homework might look like. You're allowed multiple attempts, I believe 3 attempts on this. And it takes the highest of your attempts. So if you do it one time and you're happy with the grade, that's fine. If you want to take it all 3 times, that's fine as well. So as it said, you're allowed 3 takes. I just saw it up there a second ago. So as you work through this problem here, you'll go and you'll pick whatever you think the answer is, and you'll submit your work. Now before you can, let's just throw one of these in here. You can click this check my work, and it will tell you if you have something right or not. So now, let's go back here and change it. And lo and behold, this one happened to be an asset. So you can do check my work, and you can fill out all of these and then hit check my work, and it'll tell you which ones are right and which ones are wrong. So make sure you take advantage of that before you waste a submittal, because when you submit all of the work, you can go back and take it 3 times, but you're probably not going to want to do that because some of the problems can take a little bit of time here. This one, don't let it scare you too much. You don't have to populate all these boxes, just wherever, maybe 1 or 2 per row. But this is clearly something you're not going to want to do 3 times. Well, I know I wouldn't. So anyways, you can toggle around with the view, and there's some show me how if you're not sure how to work it. You can click on that and it'll help give you some guidance. There's an ebook if for some reason you left town for vacation and you realize you forgot your book. You're not in that big of a predicament, because you can come here and click on the ebook and you can check it out on your phone or your iPad or tablet or whatever. The grade book, this is where you can go to see how what your grades are. And then study tools. These study tools are pretty neat here. And with these study tools, there's all sorts of things that you can, where is it? Click on study tools there. I believe that's how you do it. And you can click on these and it will give you all sorts of, let's see what it says here. I might be doing this wrong. They just changed this around a little bit. Give me 1 second to figure this out here. Let's see. Actually, you guys can come along with me. Alright, here we are. So that's a little cumbersome to get to, but once you get here, 1 or 2 times it'll be easy for you. So there's flashcards, crossword puzzles, resources. Let's click on these resources and see what there are. PowerPoints, templates, working paper, study guides, all sorts of things. And there should be some videos in here as well somewhere. Just take a look around in there, and I'm pretty sure that there are some. Let's see here. Anyways, take a look, and I'm sure they're there. I forgot to mention there is a quiz here, a practice quiz you can go through, and it'll tell you where you're making mistakes and where you can go back to improve things. So anyways, this is Cengage, and you'll be familiar with this. You guys are really lucky. Last semester they switched from Cengage to Cengage version 2. And when they did that, it used to be really difficult to toggle around the screen. I mean, you had like an area about this big to work within. I called them probably 35 times trying to get them to make some changes. Everybody else was as well. And so luckily now you have a bigger screen to work within. And I think you'll find Cengage is an awesome way to help you understand what you're studying. It's great because you get instantaneous feedback. You get your grade right away. And you're not left waiting for your instructor to grade your work and get back to you. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a good semester.